Hello and good day, Welcome to the Super Good Camping Podcast. My name is Pamela.
I'm Tim.
And we are from supergoodcamping.com. We're here because we're on a mission to inspire other people to get outside and enjoy camping adventures such as we have as a family. Today's episode, we wanted to talk a little bit about wildlife tracking and animal behaviors. We're not by no means wildlife tracking experts, and we're not going to claim that we are, but we just wanted to go through some things, some basics maybe that you want to know when you're out in the wild.
Yeah. So wildlife signs are information, not threats. If you learn to read the landscape, it builds calm, confident campers. Understanding animal behavior reduces fear-based reactions. This is a good one. Respectful coexistence is also a good one. Respectful coexistence protects both people and wildlife.
So tracking is reading. We're not trying to chase animals down. It's about interpreting the information that's already there. Most wildlife tries to avoid people because what we see is leftovers of movement. So they're no longer in the area and they've maybe scooted because they knew we were around. You can track things like foot tracks. You can track sounds. You can track scat. And the patterns will tell a story of when, why, and how an animal may have passed through. Ontario's forests, shorelines, and campsites are layered with all these quiet clues, so you can be a detective.
So some of the common tracks that we campers encounter here in Ontario, deer, they have heart-shaped hooves. They're often in pairs, and they travel along edges, trails, and old roads.
Raccoons, those of us with the garbage pandas here in Toronto.
I know what raccoon prints look like.
We've seen them, hand-like prints with long fingers, and frequently near water, docks, and campsites.
Yeah, they are ridiculously hand-like.
Yeah,
just itty bitty.
Well, and they use them very much like hands. They can open stuff. They can even our compost bins with these dial things to close them or lock them.
They know how to knock them over and spin the dial so they can get into them. Seriously, so they're smart too. But we are talking about tracks. Black bear. Large human-like hind feet, front paws show claws, and some of them are big, man. Often travel corridors rather than wandering randomly. So when you see hiking paths, tend to be evident that they're human hiking paths, but you often see paths in the forest itself that we humans use as well. But those are largely from animals. I'm sure you've heard of people that set up their like a trail cam. Those will be on the forest highways that the animals use, and all the animals. Like you'll see, on those trail cams, you'll see, or on tracks on the ground, you'll see deer tracks, you'll see coyote tracks. Very seldom you'll see occasional lynx tracks. You name it, bear tracks. They all use the different times because it may not go well for all of them if they all use them at the same time. But yeah, there you go.
Coyotes and wolves, so they make more oval-shaped footprints with tight toe groupings, and they travel in straighter lines than domestic dogs will. So I guess dogs are a little more rambly.
Dogs are clowns. I'm looking down at our dog right now. And just because it's iconic, a beaver. They have webbed hind feet, and you tend to find their tracks near water because they're all about the water. Tail drag marks and cut saplings nearby. If you spot that, that's, again, usually a beaver. Keep in mind that your tracks, they're not putting them there for you to find. So they're not always going to be perfect. Snow, mud, leaf detritus from, depending on the change of the seasons or whatever, that'll all sometimes help preserve, but a lot of times it will distort tracks. So you're never, you're looking at it going, I'm not sure about that. Then you see the claw mark and you go, okay, well, it's a bear.
So let's talk about poop.
Never thought I'd say that.
Scat, what it means and how to read it. So what's inside scat can tell you a bit of a story of what left that behind. Berries might indicate more a late summer or fall feeding. It's common in bears, foxes, and raccoons, and often colorful. Not that we're going to get too into it. And seed rich, and don't touch it. It's for looking at only.
Yes. I'm not even touching that. If you see fur, it's a sign of carnivory or scavenging, or scavenging. It's found in coyote, wolf, fox, scat. It suggests like a hunting success, not aggression. They're just eating. They're surviving. So.
And seeds will show the animals act as seed dispersers. Seeds actually, as an aside, are intended to not get broken down through the digestive tract. They're meant to go through whole, so that the animal, when it poops it out, and it's actually spreading the seeds around. Often they are intact because they have a short digestive transit, and that just means they go through fast, just so they don't get broken down, and they do end up whole, and then it can plant the seeds for the plant.
Yes. Mother Nature in all her glory. Great planning. Insects indicate seasonal feeding. Spring, summer, common in skunks, bears, and raccoons. Not city raccoons. It suggests opportunistic, not predatory behavior.
So why the location of the scat matters. If it's on trails or intersections, it may be more of a territorial marking or communication to other animals. If it's near campsites, it may mean the animals have been attracted to food smells or your garbage. If it's near water, then it can mean regular travel routes or feeding zones. And if it's scattered versus placed deliberately random, just may mean like it's time to go. And strategically placed might be messaging to other animals. So that's where, if it's on trails or at intersections, might be actually trying to tell something to the animal friends.
Yeah, potentially something territorial, like my place, get out. Animal sounds, what they're really saying. So alarm calls, they're sharp, repetitive, urgent sounds. The purpose is to warn others of danger. What not doesn't necessarily mean it's like if it's a bird call, it doesn't necessarily mean they're just trying to warn their friends. They could be warning other animals in the forest as well, or wherever. Often triggered by humans, dogs, because they're goofballs, or predators. And examples are, jays, chickadees, squirrels. Squirrels make lots of noise sometimes. Alarm calls.
Yeah, and you can almost tell that it's trying to warn somebody else. And the crows are the other ones I think of always with like making lots of noise.
Lots of noise.
Mating calls. So with the differentiation with that is that it might be more rhythmic, more repeated, and seasonal. Often it's louder, more persistent. Frogs, owls, coyotes are commonly heard, and it's not directed at humans.
I hope not. Hey, big guy. Territorial sounds. They're usually declaring boundaries, not inviting conflict. They're just saying, hey, this is my space, man. Wolves and coyotes howling to locate pack members, and birds singing to claim nesting space. That's interesting. I didn't know that that's what they did.
Birds can be an early warning system. They will often react before other mammals do, and just they've got an advantage point from up above being able to see. There can be sudden mobbing or alarm calls might indicate that there is a predator like an owl, a hawk, or a fox, or it might be a human entering their zone. Chickadees, blue jays, and crows are especially vocal, and listening to bird behavior gives context to unseen movement. So when you hear some crackling or something in the bush, and then you hear the birds set off.
That would be why. Sometimes silence is more meaningful than noise. It can signal a predator nearby, a recent disturbance. I know I've experienced it. I suspect a great number of you have experienced it as well, but may not have actually realized it. But forced pauses often mean that animals are assessing the risk. So is it a predator? And if it is it a risk for them in this particular, like, is it a actively hunting, what have you? Silence isn't necessarily danger. It's more of an awareness.
And so seasons might change behavior in animal wildlife. Spring, so there's more breeding, more nesting, and more territorial defense going on. Animals might be more sensitive to disturbance. Certainly, like Canada geese are ones that are very territorial about their nesting. Do not go anywhere near a goose nest. Mothers will protect their youngs viciously, and with almost any animal, the mothers will protect their young. It's, I mean, not aggressive, but that definitely can be aggressive. And I would not, like I said, go anywhere near. I know I was one time at a function that was at a convention hall, and geese had nested in the parking lot, and they roped it off. They didn't want anyone going anywhere near those geese were nesting, and wisely so.
What do they call them? Canuck cobras or something
Canadian
like that?
cobras. Cobra chickens.
Cobra chickens. They're crazy.
They are. And increased vocalizations because of it.
Yep, in the summer, so you get much more abundant food, so wider movements. They travel more. Young animals are learning their independence. More daytime activity tends to be the norm, and increased insect-based diets because there's more insects around.
Fall, there might be more urgent feeding. Bears are trying to store up for the winter, so they're eating lots. Animals might be a little less choosy about what they eat, so they also might be more attracted to human food in that case. More sightings because of that movement, and migration cues in birds, so the Canada geese preparing to fly south.
Yep. In the winter, energy conservation dominates all animal behavior, basically. Tracks are easier to read in the snow. Because they're saving energy, their home ranges tend to be smaller, and they avoid, again, trying to not burn off more energy, but they avoid unnecessary movements.
So campsites as wildlife edges. So camps are unnatural food hubs for them. The smells will travel farther, even if you have your food sealed. Wildlife will investigate patterns, not necessarily people, and repeated success in a given location teaches the animals where to keep going back to. So habituation.
And they're clever. I can get food here. I'm going here. How we campers unintentionally create wildlife patterns. Cook in the same place nightly, and it doesn't necessarily mean like, so if I'm on a campsite and I'm booking out and go to another one tomorrow, somebody else shows up on the campsite that I was on. Well, that's where the fire is. That's where the grill is or isn't. But that, you're going to be cooking in that area.
The fire pit.
Yeah, exactly. So we unintentionally do it because I didn't cook there last night. Well, no, but somebody else did. So which also leads to leaving crumbs. Food scraps, unfortunately, sometimes dishwater. Don't do that, please. Improper garbage storage, which happens all the time, man. If you're not hanging it or you're not storing it in, I don't know, like a bear vault type deal, it's going to be an issue. Feeding birds or squirrels just once.
Wow, they're so cute though. Just this one time.
And I just want a quick picture of it up close. And yeah. So do I need to tell you how I feel about that? Using the same trail pass repeatedly. So you're also scenting your on your own, whether it's the waterproofing on your boots that is, being picked up by leaves and twigs and stuff along the way.
Or every time you go to dump your dishwater, you keep going the same place.
Same place, yeah.
So we're trying to coexist respectfully with animals, try to give them space and quietly move on. If an animal stops feeding and watches you, so everybody wants that shot of the moose or the deer or whatever. And so if it stops what it's doing and it's looking at you, now you've alerted it, now you're interfering with its normal feeding patterns. If you hear repeated alarm calls nearby, if there's a clear travel corridor or feeding area that like you observe that they always go to this same spot in the lake to go feed, then maybe try to
stay farther away and carry a longer lens.
Yeah. Speaking of that, like I think of Follow Me North, and we have a beautiful calendar of theirs in our kitchen at the moment with a beautiful shot of a bull moose in the wintertime with his head and his big rack. And anyways, they've talked about before getting those shots. It's not like that they're like 10 feet away from the animal. They are very mindful of not disturbing them.
They're way the heck over there on a 600 mil lens.
And the presence of young or animal dens. Like, obviously, you don't want someone traipsing into your home. We don't want to traipse into their home. And we certainly don't want strangers anywhere near our young children. So same for them.
So on that same sort of note is, teach your kids to observe without disturbing, look with your eyes, not with your feet. Whisper games instead of shouting.
Outside is very difficult to get young children to not shout.
Especially as this one as a scout leader with the beavers, because they're like 7 years old-ish. Quiet is not really a thing, man. Spot signs from a distance so that you can avoid areas. Turn tracking into a storytelling exercise. That's an excellent idea. That might keep them a little bit quieter. And emphasize respect over excitement. By all means, have some excitement, but you're trying to not disturb their homes.
So yeah, sometimes we interpret animal behaviors in the wrong way. Some of the most misunderstood ones are coyotes howling doesn't mean that they're being aggressive. It's just their way of communicating. Bears seen in daylight does not mean necessarily that they're dangerous. Certainly in that more ramped up feeding time in the fall, they might be a little more active during the day.
They're stacking up calories, man.
Deer standing still doesn't mean that they're friendly or passive. And animals that are near your camp doesn't mean that they're tame or that they're your friend. So same with that. Just give them a wide berth, especially if it's a bear.
Yeah, the deer standing still equals friendly. Deer meaning it's not just, whether it's moose, bull elk, whatever. It's, they're standing on the side of the road and people are like, oh, get out to take pictures. And then it charges. They're like, but I thought it was friendly. No, it's not.
They're not friendly. They're not tame.
Take a picture through your window. Keep going. One thing that campers consistently get wrong is assuming wildlife behavior is emotional rather than practical. They're all about staying alive, man. Animals are responding to food, energy, safety, seasons, not curiosity about humans. And most close calls are created by us humans.
Well, yeah, so they're not out to get us. It's just if they view us as a threat, then they react accordingly. So what tracking ultimately can teach us is that animals are efficient, intentional, and adaptive, and often have habits, just like the rest of us have habits. We eat our meals at a certain time. We eat certain foods. The forest operates on patterns, not on panic. Observation builds confidence and humility. And the more you understand, the less afraid, but you still want to maintain that level of caution.
Yeah.
Intelligent caution. Yeah. And then just as a closing thought, wildlife is always communicating. We can be paying attention and we can listen. And tracking teaches us how to listen without necessarily interfering.
Yeah. And I was thinking about scat there for a minute. If you spot,
yeah, I do that.
I'm fixated on poop. If you spot, the bear bells and pepper spray, that could be a grizzly because they eat the people that are trying to. No. I'm kidding.
What's left of them, you mean? All right. That's it for us for today. Thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate you so much. If you would like to talk to us anytime, we're at hi@supergoodcamping.com. That's hi@supergoodcamping.com. Please like, follow, subscribe, share. And if you want to buy us a coffee, you can always buy us a coffee. The link is always in the show notes. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.